Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Akmal bin Muhammad Rosdi. Now, today I'm going to teach you about stacks and queues. Now, stacks are based on the LIFO principle, which is the last in, first out principle. Now, stacks insertion and deletion in stack take place only from one end of the list called the top. Insert operation is called push operation. Delete operation is called pop operation. In stack, we maintain only one pointer to access the list called the top, which always points to the last element present in the list. Stack is used in solving problem works on recursion. Now, the next thing is queues. What is queues? Queues are based on the first in, first out principle, which is the element inserted at the first is the first element to come out of the list. Insertion and deletion in queues take place from the opposite ends of the list. The insertion takes place at the rear of the list, and the deletion takes place from the front of the list. Insert operation is called NQ operation. Delete operation is called DQ operation. In queues, we maintain two pointers to access the list. The front pointer always points to the first element inserted in the list and is still present, and the rear pointer always points to the last inserted element. Queue is used in solving problems having sequential processing. Now let's look at the diagram. Now this is how stack is visualized, and this is the top, which is the last element entered. Now let's look at the queues. Now this is the queue diagram. We can see that it has a front and also a rear to keep track of the data inside it. Now let's look at the coding. Stack and queues is created from linked list. So as usual, we declare our linked list. This is how it's supposed to look like. We have the node, head till current, the default constructor to check boolean. The boolean is empty. The print to print all the data, the insert front, the size, and also insert end. Get first, get next to get the first element, to get the next element, the get last to get the last element, remove front, remove end, and also the remove object. Now let's look at the node. Now the node is where we store the data. We have the default constructor, our normal constructor, our set data, set next, get data, get next, to string. Now this is my program is a game store, so it will store all the game information, and when a customer wants it, it can provide all the information needed. Now this is the public class game where I store the name, the genre, the price. This is the default constructor, the normal constructor, and the copy constructor. The setter, or also known as mutator, the set name, set genre, set price, the accessor or the getters, known as get name, get genre, get price, and the toString. Now that we have looked through all of these, let's have a look at the stack. Since we declare the stack, it has since it is an extension of linked list, we use the super insert front. This is the push operation to insert the element into the stack, and this is the pop operation to remove element from the stack. And this is big. This is, we just want to look at the data on top of the stack, and it is empty to check whether or not the stack has any data in it, and the print to print all the information, to print all the data in the stack. Now let's look at the queue. The queue is also the extension of linked list. We have the constructor here, and the enqueue, which is the operation to insert data, and the dequeue to remove data from the queue, the get front to get the first element, get end to get the last element, is empty to check whether or not it is empty, and the print to print all the data in the queue. Now let's look at the main. Now my program, I store all my data in a list where I don't have to write every time I open my program. So this is how I use the input reader to read the data from the list.txt. This is the game. We have 6 games in this. Now next we initialize the stack and queue. Since stack and queue, whenever we remove data from it, the data is gone. So I store in a temporary stack and a temporary queue. Whenever I do an operation with the stack and queues, this is where I initialize all the variables needed in my coding. This is the reading data from the text file into the system. Now after we read every data, I want all the data to be recorded in the stack and queue. So this is first, since I read the data and save it into a linked list at first, and then from the linked list I move the data to stack and queue. This is my stack, I push the data. This is my queue, I enqueue the data into it and do it until the linked list is empty. Now once all of that is done, I will try to ask whether, I ask the user what operation does he wants to do. My first operation is view game. If user enters 1, it will display all the data in the stack and queue. The second operation is add game. The user can enter a game into the queue and stack. Next is remove game. The user can remove any kind of game, any game that is within the stack and queue. Next is edit game. Any details that regarding a game that they want to edit, they can use this operation. And the search game to display certain information about one particular game. This is the coding to get the to get the information of the game from both stack and queue. This is the find total to get the total price after we add up all the games available. And this is find average to get the average of the total games sold. This is the find min max details with queue from step. Now the find min max, since there could be multiple game with the same price tag, that can be it's either the maximum or the minimum price available in the store. And so I use queue to save the min max value from stack. And that's all. Now let's try running the program. Let's say I want to view game. I press 1. And from this we can see that in the stack there is 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sixth game. How about in our queue? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's also 6 game in our queue. The view operation was successfully. Now let's try adding a game. Now let's say we put Mario. The genre is single player. The price will be 50. Now let's view the game again. There you have it. We have Mario in our stack. And Mario in our queue. Let's try removing the game that we just inserted. Mario. Now let's see in the list. Let's try displaying everything again. Seems like the program is a bit buggy. Let's try rerunning the program. Now let's try adding a game. Mario single player RM50. Let's view the list. Now Mario is in our stack. This is our stack. There's a Mario in it. Now this is from our queue. Alright, the data is already in it. Now let's try removing again. Mario. From here we can see that Mario is successfully removed from stack. Let's see whether or not it is true. This is the list from our stack. Portal 2, It Takes Two, Borderlands 3, Digimon, GTA, Cyberpunk. Yep, there's no Mario in our stack. Now let's see our Portal 2, It Takes Two, Borderlands 3, GTA, Cyberpunk. This is in our queue. Alright, the remove seems to work fine. Now let's try edit the price. Now let's change Mario. Oops, my bad. I tried editing something I just removed. So let's try enter a game that has not been removed yet. Now let's see here what is left. Let's try editing Portal 2. Now Portal 2 is not found too. Interesting. Seems like our program is buggy again. Now let's try turning it off, rerun it. Okay, let's try edit price. Now let's see here, GTA 5. Let's change it to 100. Now let's view the game. And it is successfully done in our stack. How about our queue? Yep, GTA 5 have become 100. Before this, it is 299. Everything's fine. Now let's try searching for a game. Now, how about the GTA 5 again? There we have it. GTA 5. It is found in our stack. Now let's find the total. The total price of all the game available is 1000 something. The average is 269. How about min max? Give me the highest price. We have Cyberpunk with 299. Let's try again on our min max, since the minimum won't show up just now. I don't know why. Let's try again. We got it. Game with the highest price is GTA 5, Cyberpunk 2077, Portal 2, and it takes 2. Let's check our list. 299. Yep, these two is the lowest. It takes 2 and Portal 2. We got it. And Cyberpunk and GTA, it is the most expensive in our list. Now that is done for my system. Now let's move on to the expression converter. Before that, alright, now let's see the expression converter. Now we use the stack to do this. First, we declare all the required variables. Its constructor, and this is the process of converting. We loop it based on the length of input. Next, after that we read one by one of the input. Now this we will compare based on the rule of precedence, the plus, the minus, everything according to the rule of precedence, and check whether or not the stack is not empty. After that, we convert stack, we push it into the convert stack after based on the rule of precedence. After everything is done, we get from an infix, we get the postfix of it. Alright, let's see how it goes. Now let's say I entered this value. Based on the rule of precedence, the postfix, we get this. Everything works fine. I guess that's all from me. Thank you.